So Herschel Walker has been found to not really believe in what he says he believes, and it appears that right-wingers are now in damage control mode after the Daily Beast ran a damning article about Herschel Walker, who is so-called a pro-life Senate candidate down in Georgia, has paid off a former girlfriend to have an abortion, according to these reports. After this, Herschel Walker's son, Christian Walker, took to the internet to expose some family secrets. Let's look at what Dana Loesch, who's the former NRA spokeswoman, said in regards to this scandal in defense of Mr. Walker.
Please keep in mind that I am concerned about one thing and one thing only at this point. So I don't care if Herschel Walker paid to abort endangered baby eagles. I want control of the Senate. If the Daily Beast story is true, you're telling me Walker used his money to reportedly pay some skank for an abortion, and Warnock wants to use all of our monies to pay a whole bunch of skanks for abortions. Apparently his son, the left, I've never followed his son. I'm not even gonna get into his name or nothing. I'm not gonna mention his name. I just wish that conservatives would stop racing towards every damn freak they see. They're so thirsty. Oh my gosh, they're an influencer on Instagram. I must have you do this. Oh, we gotta stop it. Just stop it. It's so stupid.
All right, very kind words from Miss Dana Loesch about women who get abortions. And we've got more from Newt Gingrich, who would rather blame mental health issues as the reason for Herschel Walker's behavior. Let's watch that.
I talked to Herschel about this morning, and I've known Herschel a good while. I think he's a remarkable person. I think he's the most important Senate candidate in the country because he'll do more to change the Senate just by the sheer presence, by his confidence, by his deep commitment to Christ, by the degree to which he is, he's been through a long, tough period. He had a lot of concussions coming out of football. He suffered PTSD.
He's got a lot going on. That is simply why he advocates for policies that he believes shouldn't personally apply to him. Makes a lot of sense. And finally, we've got Diamond and Silk comparing Walker's situation to that of Donald Trump.
That your best bet is to vote for Herschel Walker. Okay?
That's
Forget
right.
What you done heard. That is distractions.
Right.
That's when President Trump was running. Remember all of the distractions.
I remember all of the distractions.
He said he gonna grab him by this. And we was like, well, I'm so happy he grabbing somebody by the P instead of the D.
By the D.
All right, Jackson, what are your thoughts on all of this? Do any of these excuses hold water for Mr. Walker?
Absolutely not. Well, first I want to point out that Dana Loesch, she had to dehumanize a woman who had the abortion, to basically link like, it wasn't really his fault. She kind of like lured him into it like some type of a succubus. So that's really what she was doing. But at the end of the day, the Republican base is incredibly homogenous, not just with race, but also just with their cultural stances. Therefore, all that really matters is the agenda, and they know that Herschel Walker is going to vote in favor of it. And also, therefore, merits, morals, and principles really don't mean anything, especially when they know that they really aren't popular with younger generations. And that's why the Supreme Court's doing so much of what it's doing, and that's why they're moving the way they're moving. But effectively, the sexual and economic revolution for women basically lobotomized the conservative culture in this country. And they've been losing it ever since. And so that's really all this is a response to. But Herschel Walker really doesn't have the capacity to address this properly. So, Republicans don't care, but this certainly can't help him. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. It's kind of interesting how every time there's some kind of scandal that goes to show, these conservatives are preaching one thing but living their lives by a different set of standards and values, right? Saying women should not be allowed to have abortions, then they're paying for their girlfriends to have abortions. It's this typical playbook of the rules only apply to you all. And we're gonna live our lives however we want. We'll always have access to abortion because we have a ton of resources and a ton of privilege in society. However, the people that are in their base, there are gonna be women who vote for these candidates who end up needing abortions because they're medically necessary. And you've got people like Dana Loesch saying, well, Warnock wants to pay for all women to get abortions and uses a different word than the one I just used, calling them skanks, whereas Herschel Walker only paid for one. It's the hypocrisy that it seems like conservatives don't care is standard within the leaders of their party.
Absolutely. I mean, not just that, Herschel Walker, what he has 4 different children by 4 different women, none of who he stayed with to raise. So obviously that doesn't reflect conservative values. But at the end of the day, conservatives all throughout history, they were the ones who fought for monarchies to stay in place. They were the ones who fought for slavery and segregation to stay in place. They're the ones now who don't want to move towards a better healthcare system that makes sense, simply because in their ideals, basically, especially in modern day conservatism, they continuously vote against their interests because they're just making their racism make sense. That's all it is at the end of the day. So whether it's their racism, sexism, classism, it all boils into them feeling like they're better than the others. But like you pointed out, a lot of women who vote for these people are about to suffer because of this. And because of that, that's going to damage the Republicans as well.
Yeah, you make some really good points, especially about family values. I just want to quickly point to Herschel Walker really making it a key tenet of his campaign to talk about the importance of fathers being present in their household when he is not present in his. And a big factor in this is that there has been a lack of economic opportunity in Black communities across America. And when you have that kind of situation where people don't have a lot of opportunities to provide for their family, what do you think that's going to do to the family structure? And if you want to resolve that, you've got to offer some policies that address the root concern, not just complaining that there are households with absent fathers. But we will not see that from the conservatives in America, especially not Herschel Walker.